Faites vos jeux. Welcome to Monte Carlo, the place where the legends are made. Sébastien Ogier, the king of Monte Carlo. Can he be beaten? The ace, Thierry Neuville. Can this be his year? Chris Meek and Citroën need to stay in the game. Tanak, the wild card. New car, new team, will he deliver? Andreas Mikkelsen is fast. Is he the joker in the pack? But remember, Monte Carlo decides who wins.
Indeed, it does. Now time to place your bets for Rally Monte Carlo. Over the next hour, we'll be getting to grips with the dark art of tyre choice on the most unpredictable of rallies. And hear what it took M Sport boss Malcolm Wilson to retain five-time world champion Sébastien Ogier.
When you've worked with Sébastien and Julian, then you see what influence and what benefits they brought to the team. I really wanted to try and retain him for 2018.
We take tea with Oit Tanak.
Life is good. We're back in Monaco. Enjoying life, having tea with my lovely partner. Feels so romantic.
And we'll bring you all the best from the stages of the Rally Monte Carlo, a true lesson in classics. Class for 2018 begins in Monte Carlo, but lessons continue with the snow of Rally Sweden. Argentine fans will leave a lasting impression in April, while the summer months simmer nicely with Rally Finland. Round 10 sees a return to Turkey, followed by colder weather in Great Britain, and school is out after round 13 at Rally Australia. First, though, perhaps the sternest tarmac test of the year awaits. 388 kilometres of competitive distance over 4 days, starting in Monaco and tearing through the French Alps. A rally that throws every condition at the drivers, with the winner's fate in the lap of the gods.
Monte Carlo rally is always a difficult rally. I think it's that rally which every driver wants to win, but it's not about pure speed. You know, you need to have a little bit of luck with your tire choice. But yeah, it's trying to be on that limit all the time and getting safely through. It's not easy, but that's what we try to do.
And lower altitude, maybe snow and rain, and higher altitude, just snow and so on. So freezings and things, and the temperatures will drop, and you know it will be proper Monte condition.
This is about managing your complete rally. You'll see everything in this rally, from bone-dry tarmac to wet tarmac to shiny black top, where the bitumen comes to the top. That is like ice. Then you have the slush, the ice, the snow, and you can all do that on a slick tyre in one stage.
It's the most difficult rally of the season, and I mean, always in this point before the race, you feel quite excited. It can be very stressful during the event because of the weather and the tire choices. But at the end, if you finish this event, and that's the target, I mean, it's the biggest pleasure what you can get.
One man who knows about finishing this rally in style is Sébastien Ogier. The smart money in Monte Carlo will be on the Frenchman.
It's my home rally, my heart rally, so I'm always very, very excited to go to Monte Carlo rally, especially since a couple of years it's happening in Gap, so I have a huge amount of fans coming to push me on this event. So yeah, at the same time you have more pressure, more expectation, but yeah, I love this atmosphere. I've managed to win this event 5 times already, 4 times in the World Championship, so I love this one, and I often mention that if I would need to win only one, that would be the one I will choose in the season.
Here are the hopefuls aiming to win the true classic on the calendar, Rally Monte Carlo. But our WRC stars do their gambling away from the casinos and on the winding asphalt stages. And this is how they line up. M Sport's Sébastien Ogier and co-driver Julien Ingrassia are the men to beat. 5 times world champions, they lead the way in their Fiesta. Alongside them, Elfyn Evans, co-driven by Daniel Barrett. A victory on home soil last season gave the promise of much more to come here. Hyundai Motorsports start the new year with a point to prove. Thierry Neuville, with more victories than any other driver in 2017, returns to lead the lineup. Alongside Andreas Mikkelsen, back after 3 outings in the I-20 last year, he and Anders Jaeger have the machinery and talent to make it count. Danny Sordo fills the 3rd seat at Hyundai, this time out with Carlos Del Barrio, the asphalt expert, twice a runner-up in Monte Carlo. Toyota and 2017 saw Jari-Matti Latvala and co-driver Mika Anttila win on just the 2nd event for the team. His biggest threat this year could come from his teammate Ott Tänak. Now signed to the Japanese manufacturer with co-driver Martin Jarbajoa. Tänak got 2 rally wins with M Sport last year. Watch this space for more to come. Toyota's 3rd Yaris will again be driven by Esa-Pekka Lappi. The Finn won on only his 4th outing in a World Rally car last season. 8-time manufacturer champion Citroën had a rough ride last year, but returned with Chris Meek and co-driver Paul Nagel to build on the Northern Irishman's 2 wins in 2017. He's joined by Craig Breen for 10 rounds, with co-driver Scott Martin alongside. The Irishman's stand-in for the 3 remaining rounds, though, is Citroën's all-conquering Sébastien Loeb, who returns in Mexico. As our drivers are presented to the great and good of Monte Carlo in Casino Square, the dice are rolled for another thrilling season. All eyes on Sébastien Ogier on the long road ahead to what could be a 6th world title. Nighttime terrors to start things off, with 2 stages run in the dark, starting with the formidable Sister on stage.
This place, it has an appeal and it has an atmosphere all of its own, especially at night. And it can chill even the world's best to the bone. World champion Seb Ogier gets 2018 up to speed. The pretender to the Ogier crown. Last year's runner-up, Thierry Neuville. And the Belgian slowed to a crawl for the first ice of the weekend, and even at a crawl, he was too fast. And into a ditch he went. Same stage, same stretch, and even Ogier, a 4-time winner on this famous Monte, was losing his grip.
Yeah, it's like expected, a bit tricky. Unfortunately, we had a spin on the ice. We lose a bit of time.
Now imagine the pressure on Ott Tänak, his first day in his new job at Toyota. This must be bad, he thought, as he passed the stranded Neuville. There he is on the side, ankle deep in ice. And at the next col, he found out just how bad it was in Monte Carlo. First hand. Into his own kind of trouble, but Tänak escaped quicker than Neuville. The first few kilometres of the new year, and Thierry Neuville was already 4 minutes down on the leader. The leader, you've guessed it, who was Seb Ogier.
I stuck in the snowbank. I pulled the handbrake on the ice, but I locked the 4 wheels and I went straight in the snowbank.
Elfyn Evans wasn't blessed with a clean start to the Monte. He picked up a puncture on the very first stage and decided on the spot it had to be changed. And that cost him almost 4 minutes in lost time. Chris Meek came unstuck too.
Right at the 2 lap minus, don't cut full ice. Right. Easy now, Chris, respect the ice.
Respect to the ice, Paul Nagel told him. He reversed off it. And Craig Breen, well, he was helped out of a late night spin in the snow by a fan dressed in a pink rabbit suit. There's always one, Z.
After the night stages, its advantage, Ogier over 17 seconds ahead of Andreas Mikkelsen with Danny Sordo in third. Chris Meek more than 2 minutes off the pace in ninth. His Monte Carlo woes continue. Coming up, we get to grips with the tyres that keep the cars on the road and have a few friends to help us back on track when all else fails. Breathtaking mountains and plunging valleys make up Rally Monte Carlo's classic stages. But alpine vistas mean alpine weather here, all adding up to a headache when deciding which tyres to run.
We know there will be snow and ice, and I'm sure we will see a lot of different tyre choices. You need a little bit more room for mistakes and things to go a little bit wrong. But yeah, it's trying to be on that limit all the time and getting safely through. It's not easy, but that's what we try to do.
You can face a lot of different grip condition, from snow to tarmac, with ice, with slush, with mud. That's why it's a difficult one, because you have more tire choice than usually, so you can play a bit more with that. Actually, it's very exciting. I love this fact, but that's offered then more possibilities.
You'll see everything in this rally. 95% of the time you find yourself on the wrong tyre for the particular condition, but it's the best option for the full loop, so it's about adapting to the conditions.
Success in Monte Carlo then means choosing the right rubber and compromising, but with 4 variations to choose from for the stages ahead, this is no simple decision.
Basically, as you can see, we have got 2 tread patterns. This tyre is in 2 compounds. You can have the soft tyre. It'll work on a dry, clean tarmac condition, down to maybe 4 or 5 degrees ground temperature. If your ground temperature's below that, or you've got a lot of humidity on the surface, then we would go on to the super soft. We have the snow tyre without the studs, and we have the snow tyre with the studs. Without the stud, it's more for slushy snow, melting snow, or deep standing water. The snow tyre with the stud really needs to have ice under the snow for the stud to penetrate the ice. Unfortunately, the nature of the event, you're frequently in a compromise situation. It's always difficult to say, yes, we've got this correct, because with the changing conditions, a lot of the time you're on a compromise package. We have the safety crews who drive through the stages before the rally cars. If we have 2 stages together, we have at least the clear information from the safety crew who's driven the stage, exactly what the conditions are. We also have spotters in the stage at 2 or 3 key locations who can actually give us the ground temperatures, give us what the cloud coverage is doing, give us all the information that they can actually see at the time. The final choice for sure comes down to the driver. He is the guy who has got to manage the package we put on the car. We can recommend, we can suggest, but at the end of the day, he's got to drive it. He makes the final call.
Well, this is where the gamble on tyre choice begins on Friday. A loop of 3 stages run twice for 145 kilometres of stages to the southwest of the service park in Gap.
Friday morning, and no ice to be seen now, at least not from up here. Ogier and Ingrassia settled in and were playing safe with soft and super soft tyres at the ready. But Ogier was still a little suspicious of the road ahead.
It's a stage we've done many times, but it's still tricky. There is a lot of blacktop on this stage. There is often also some very cold corner where there is some frost, some ice. So yeah, if the conditions stay like we've seen in Ricky, yeah, the tire choice is slick tires, but then it means it can be very tricky, and you have to be sure to have all the information about ice patches.
Julian Ingrassia tells him, Noir, watch out for the black ice, the Noir. Andreas Mikkelsen starting a whole season with Hyundai on a long and winding road. And one that shouldn't really have led down here. Andreas misheard an instruction maybe, but got a quick escape. He was a lucky boy. Having survived Thursday night's ice skating, Danny Sordo was going well and in third place.
Negro, derecha, 6, situar para izquierda, 5, poco lenta, para
11 seconds off Sordo's time was Oyt Tanak, a little more defensive with his tyre choice, but they were quickly up to temperature, allowing him to hug the Armco barrier at high speed. Teammate Esa-Pekka Lappi about to make up a place on the leaderboard. Craig Breen's brakes were failing badly. Broken by a stone, Lappi about to pass him at the end of a hair-raising section on stage 5. It's the worst of all moments for a driver, and it meant Craig had dropped at least 2 minutes. But teammate Andreas Mikkelsen was worse than slow. He was stationary and powerless.
We got the battery voltage alarm, which meant that the belt was broken, and we tried to fix it, but it's very short time between the stages here, so there was not enough time for us to make the alternator belt change. So we're stuck here. So that's a big shame to start the season like that.
With Mikkelsen out, another reshuffle on the leaderboard after stage 5. Tanak and Sordo have switched places, and there are now 3 Toyotas in the top 5, with Finns Lappi and Latvala now chasing down the Spaniard. Next stop, a return to the Gap Service Park, where tyre choice is once again the big talking point.
I went with my full super soft, and it was much drier than expected, so yeah, I could have done better on the last one, that's for sure, but it's you know, on a rally like this you cannot be perfect all the time.
Seb has said that a 40-second lead in Monte Carlo is not a comfortable lead. Are you going to catch him this afternoon?
It's difficult to catch just by driving, but you know, it's Monte, and we've seen previous years that everything can happen, so we just need to keep going consistently and keep our pace, and hopefully we can improve a bit the car. So yeah, it's very important to get better feeling in the car and just to get the experience. So yeah, let's see how it goes, but it's still a really long way to go.
How has your morning been?
Fantastic. Was not perfect, no, but I'm a little bit disappointed. We lost a little bit time in the last stage. We used 2-3 soft tires because the super soft was a little bit damaged after the stages before, and we didn't want to have a puncture or something like this.
So far then, M-Sport making the perfect start to a year when they begin the defence of their World Championship double. But the real victory for Malcolm Wilson was securing Sébastien Ogier's signature for 2018.
When
you've worked with Sebastian and Julian, then you see what influence and what benefits they brought to the team. I really wanted to try and retain him for 2018. The important thing for Sebastian was that we would be able to remain competitive. And in fairness, that's where Ford also came in and played a major part in really helping us on the technical side. It's right across the whole spectrum of engine, transmission, aerodynamics, and of course everything is controlled from Ford Performance in America. So basically my team of guys have been out there to see exactly what resource and everything that we can have, and obviously they've got a lot of equipment that, and test facilities that we feel that we can take advantage of. That's the important thing, to be able to stay, you know, at the sharp end.
On my side, of course, it was important to have a support from a manufacturer, because I think yeah, what we achieved last year was pretty special as a private team to win the championship, but you have to be realistic. On the long term, it will have become more and more difficult to fight against other manufacturers, so I'm sure Ford is going to help us a lot. I think we've seen last year that the championship was pretty open. It was a very exciting competition, and on our side, yeah, we didn't win as much rallies than the previous year, but we were still very consistent, and that was the key to win the championship. There is no secret in there. That will be again the key this year. It's always is in motorsport. You have to be consistent. So that will be our plan for the new season. But of course, in the same time, like I say, I hope that we can gain a bit more performance, more speed, and be able maybe to win more stages, more rallies than last year.
I'm not underestimating, you know, if you look at all cars are capable of winning, there's a driver, at least one driver in each team that's capable of winning. Last season was really exciting, but and demanding and challenging, and I think this one's going to be even greater, to be honest.
Friday afternoon, and there's always one, isn't there? No, there's two of them up there. Good gracious. The heavy rain fell on Friday afternoon. Time for those super sticky slicks. Not that they could help the champ right here. And trying to escape his hell, he made it worse. This slip happened on stage 7. But you see, the thing is, with the champ hailing from Gap, round here, this is his backyard. And as you might expect, out came the fan club to push him out of trouble. The damage to his rally leading time limited to just half a minute.
How much time did you lose?
We'll have to check, but close to 30 seconds maybe, I don't know.
And how were the conditions?
Very difficult, yeah. Very, very difficult.
Tanak won stage 6 and stared out down the road and set his sights on rally leader Seb Ogier ahead of him. The road narrower here, a bit drier as well for him, and Ogier, remember, vulnerable at this point, in recovery mode. Precise, neat, Chris Meek.
Three rights there, and the Titans very late, and Southern start running at minus 20.
The villages here are included on the route to the Monte Carlo, and they are so claustrophobic.
Over the crest opens, Titans minus, start for right and 2 left minus.
Meek safely through and out the other side. Touching 190 kilometres an hour, Jari-Matti Latvala. Jari-Matti never a winner here, but on the podium last year, turning a blind eye to the black ice and the standing water that can occasionally spook him around Monte Carlo.
So that ditch has compromised Sebastian Ogier's rally lead. Encouragement for Tanak in second and Sordo in third place. Chris Meek, the leading Citroën, in a distant 6th. Before the Ogier era, Sebastian Loeb dominated these roads, and the 9-time champion will make a sensational return later this year.
I will be in Mexico, Corsica and Catalonia. I did a few rallies in France since I retired in WRC, and I always enjoy this sensation. It's some sensation that you don't get in any other sport. And so I had this opportunity to drive the Citroën, and it's these new WRCs that are looking very nice, so I'm looking forward to be there, and it's exciting to start a rally with a car like that. And on the other side, I know it will be complicated. You know, it's 6 years since 2011 I was not in Mexico. I know I will struggle with the experience of the stages. I don't know so well the cars. This maybe is not the problem, but it's a long time. I didn't drive on gravel since I retired in the rally. On tarmac, not every day also, but what I can expect, I don't know. I hope that I will be still in a good rhythm on tarmac. On gravel, I have no idea.
Will we ever see a full-time return of Sebastian Loeb to the championship?
So. No, the plan is to continue in rallycross. Here I just come for having fun and get a little bit of this sensation that I miss a little bit. And no, for the rest I will concentrate on the rallycross championship.
Well, Seb, if you want another hit of that sensation, you're welcome back any time. More action, more sensation, and more excursions into the countryside coming up. Welcome back to Rally Monte Carlo. Early morning in the service park, and rainfall means snow on sections of today's stages is guaranteed. And that has brought a complete rethink on rubber, as for the first time this weekend the teams send for the winter tyres. But studded or non-studded? That is the question.
It's never super easy because you want to be sure to be right, but I think this morning it's pretty clear that we will have to face quite a lot of snow. Also very tricky condition, I think, with slush. I think for tyre choices maybe a bit more clear than the day before.
Here's what's on the cards for Saturday's stages. 2 identical loops of 2 stages north of Gap before a repeat of Friday's Bayonne to Brézières test. 117 kilometres of stage action. All simple enough on paper, but mixed conditions through those stages will mean guaranteed drama. Out on stage, safety crews scurry through the stages to relay conditions back to the teams. For Elvin Evans' crew, that job falls to Father Gwyndaf.
Guys are only able to do the WRC.
I work in conjunction with Phil Mills, working for Elvin and Dan. And basically our role is to go around the whole route a couple of hours before the rally goes live. And Phil dictates the pace notes back to me, and then I will call whatever I see in a shorthand of any conditions.
We basically go with a copy of the actual pace notes that the crews have, and we try and mark as many items as we can. Mainly in Monte Carlo is ice and snow, and anything that's going to catch the crews out at full speed. So we try and get that into the notes, slow the notes down into the approach, and make sure that they're fully aware of it.
British cheese sandwich.
I'm saying to Phil, doesn't feel any so bad today. Maybe the body clock is getting used to it. We can only report what percentage of the stage is dry, damp, wet, sleet, snow, ice. We give them the percentages 2 hours before they go through. We leave the rest for them. They've obviously got people on the grounds as well, because conditions can change up to half an hour before the stage goes live.
Saturday morning's weather means the main concern on stage will be snowfall, but it seems today's second stage is adding uncertainty to tyre strategy.
Classic Monte Carlo stage here today. You've got full snow for the first half of the stage and then fully wet for the second half of the stage. So we've got that impossible situation to make a tyre choice this morning, whether we go studs, normal winter tyres, or a mixture of both. It's just one of those mornings when it's very unclear what to do. The position he's in, if he was right at the front now, it would be a very difficult decision. But where we are, we've gone for the safe option. At the moment, we're on a fully studded option, on 4 studded tyre option. for the first stage, then we'll just have to see with the second stage. We have got a 2-tyre option in the back, in the boot, and we'll just have to see for the second one.
Saturday, just one of those days. Now, we would slow down or turn back, but the WRC stars must try and speed up, whatever the weather. But in this, even they would play it safe. First into the drift, Craig Breen.
Into tight free right minus and slow.
And he
left minus,
was a
tightens,
passenger in places.
and right tightens to 4+ nips. You got it, you got it. Right tightens to 4+ nips. That's it, right tightens to 4+ nips.
And he wouldn't be the only one. Phil and Gwyndaf, as you heard, had given Elfyn Evans everything they knew about the pitfalls and the dangers ahead in this stage. But would that help the Welshman? Well, sometimes all the preparation in the world just isn't enough. The race against the ticking clock had to stop, at least for this stage, stage 9. But the later starters on this road would find things improving for them. Or would they be improving? Chris Meek, by now an expert in getting out of trouble. Watch this.
And big stop, left over crest. Southern hairpin right minus camber. And 2 left.
Chris and Paul won't have gone as slowly as this in the recce. But that was a very quick getaway.
27 minutes of it's honestly, in these conditions, it's probably the most challenging, because the moment you hit the slush or the fresh snow, it's gone. And I had one spin, I maybe lost 12 seconds on a spin, but to be honest, I don't know if I'm +1 minute or -1 minute. I just drive my rhythm.
In third place overnight, Danny Sordo. But not in third place for long. Attempting to seize the initiative, it all went wrong. And with no Rally 2 in place in Monte, that was game over for Danny. Even the rally leader, Seb Ogier, was taking it gingerly. But his subtle rhythm gave him just the speed he needed to keep his Fiesta going. It was mind-blowing stuff. In the worst of weather, Ogier had opened up his lead by over a minute.
Stage okay for Julian?
Meanwhile,
we went off a little bit the line, not too much, no, but it's enough for lost the grip in the braking and went off.
Ogier's lead has been trimmed, but is still just over a minute. Tanak in second, and there are still 3 Toyotas in the top 4, with Latvala and Lappi now separated by 25 seconds. Meek is another 2.5 minutes further back in 5th. Back at the morning service in Gap, though, what's going on here? Oyt Tanak fraternising with the enemy as he chats to his former boss at M Sport, Malcolm Wilson.
So what's the chat about?
Just tell him he just needs to slow down. He doesn't need to go so fast.
This team order is not working today. We are planning to have some special set of tappers for the day, which were going to be really good, but unfortunately we have some issues, so yeah, it feels like a go-kart. It's perfect for tarmac, but maybe not so good for the snow and slush.
Tanak making an impressive start to his Toyota career. Before the event, we found time for 11's Estonian style as we took tea with Tanak and his co-driver Martin Järvejoa. Never ones to make life easy, we decided to find out how well they know each other. What is their relationship really like?
Life is good. We are back in Monaco.
In this beautiful cafe?
Yeah, exactly. With some beautiful people. Enjoying life. Having tea with my lovely partner. Feels so romantic.
We have something here, eh? Let's see what's inside.
It sounds to be dangerous. These kind of things are always dangerous.
I start.
Yeah.
When is my birthday? Should be easy, eh?
I know it's in August. I would not put money on myself, but 18 maybe.
It's always same day as Rally Germany recce, so it's easy. Eh?
So my question, how old are my children?
Soon they get 4 and 1. At the moment they are like 0 and 3. Eh?
You know more than I do, to be honest.
What's my most annoying habit? Don't say sleeping. Eh?
Aye. That's a tough one. You're not even farting in the car, so it's hard to say, yeah? But,
yeah, not as you.
Exactly. I think I struggle to answer because I don't really know you any strange habits, so... What did you think when I told you about moving to Toyota?
I was happy.
That's good.
That's good.
So we both agree.
I was really happy. It was too much, huh? Tell me something that we don't know about Ott. At the moment...
First, don't say too much. We are still in
At the
TV.
moment, we are drinking tea. But why don't you like coffee?
Let's say I tried when I was mechanic, just to look similar to the others, but yeah, it didn't work out. It's maybe too often I need to visit toilets, so it's better to stay with tea. Okay, Martin, it's been lovely for too long now, so let's crack on with some real stuff and let's have some fun.
We should go.
See you.
Mr. and Mrs. Tanak. But how would their special relationship help them tackle Ogier's lead, which by Saturday afternoon was now over a minute? Chris Meek enjoying some Monte sunshine. The snow had melted, but what was underneath it?
Stay over ice, stop right and the left, double tightens, hairpin left, ice neat.
It was nothing that could help him avoid a couple of Irish flags. Oh, the irony for his co-driver Paul Nagel. Reverse, this time the right and the only option.
Hairpin right minus double tightens, nips.
And the battle was heating up into the second half of the Monte Carlo route. Neither Meek nor this guy, Esa-Pekka Lappi, could afford a slip or a slide now. Both were in a fight over a valuable fourth place. But that small error was costly for Lappi. Deflating for Lappi. The right rear had punctured on his car and it needed changing on stage 11. And fourth place was gone. Still in the groove, the old man of the Toyota team, Jari-Matti Latvala.
80 oikein 3 miinus. Kuiva jatkuu. 50 oikein 4 kirraa vähän pitkä. Älä tolppa. 200 oikein 7.
In second place, the go-karter Ott Tanak. The dampers had had their diagnosis and they were making the car more forgiving for the Estonian. But they wouldn't help him pick out the right place to brake to make sure they made this fast. 90 left coming up. Through they went. Thankfully, as you can see, 1 or 2 others had been in that field as well and had left them both a clue of how to get out. Still ahead of them all, Seb Ogier.
20 tours de Milon-Corde. Tour de Milon-Corde, 40 mètres, attention, frein, droite 90 plus Milon, très sale sortie, 90 plus Milon, très sale sortie.
Ogier had shaken the snow from his boot, but despite all of Saturday's dramas, he hadn't shaken off Tanak.
The local star's lead over Tanak is 33.5 seconds going into the final leg. Lavela looks safe in third, while Lappi will take an advantage of only 1.6 seconds over Meek into Sunday's 4 stages. One more day of the classic Monte Carlo rally to go. The 2018 vintage is already proving very Moorish. On to the final day of Rally Monte Carlo, and the teams are back in Monaco for the morning service.
Yeah, we expect the top to be tricky. When the gravel crew passed, it was a lot of frost up there, so always a question how going to be the evolution. But yeah, it's once again not a super straightforward choice.
What will the tyre choice be?
I can tell you.
Wait, can you tell us about your plan of attack today?
So to get through this Turini, it looks to be very, very tricky there.
Into the mountains we go for the final day. 2 loops of 2 stages, taking in the iconic Col de Turini on the first stage. More a baptism of ice than fire assured at the summit. And points on offer in today's power stage, the climax of Rally Monte Carlo.
The sun tried to peek through the trees for the conclusion to Rally Monte Carlo. And if Friday was about slicks and Saturday about studs, Sunday was about a mixture of all tyre compounds. Sometimes it's difficult to make up your mind. This place, the famous Col de Turini, required all the grip a driver could lay his hands on this year. But what about the descent from the iconic spectating place?
10 oikeeseen Esa-Kirraa.
Jari-Matti Latvala was carrying every type of tyre on offer, but his approach lost the Finn 22 seconds.
40, vasen 3 pitkä.
On his way up to the Col, Brian Bouffier. And despite all his experience here, he became another Monte victim.
Sur droite 82, pour gauche droite 63, sur droite 10. Dans gauche 93, pour droite 92 un peu court, frein 40, gauche 80 un peu court.
The Frenchman would lose even more time on the later pass. Thierry Neuville fared much better. Not even the mess left by Bouffier was able to put him off. The same couldn't be said for Esa-Pekka Lappi. Sporting super soft tyres, he edged his way around the corner, headed down the straight and dug the nose of his Toyota straight into the snowbank. Misjudging where to brake had cost him 17 seconds.
Vasen miinus pätsi. 101.
Ott Tanak was the only guy left to put any kind of pressure on Seb Ogier. But on the Turini stage, he dropped over 30 seconds.
Tõus, kohe parem 3, väga pikk, täpp jätkub. Ja parem 5 miinus, ülipikk kinni, kohe vasak 2 pluss, ülipikk kinni, ei lõika. 40. Parem 4 miinus, pikk kinni, kohe vasak 3 miinus, väga pikk.
Mind you, Seb Ogier lost time too, but inevitably not as much. And the gap between the two went up to getting on for almost a minute. Ogier had a reason for this blip that came on stage 15. He was suddenly blinded by a combination of flare smoke and intense sun, and for 1 second was heading for the rocks. But only for a second. His reactions getting him out of trouble.
So Sébastien Ogier can almost taste the champagne, 57.9 seconds ahead of Ott Tanak. Lappi almost there in that battle for fourth with Meek, but Elfyn Evans will be looking nervously over his shoulder with Neuville still closing. Carlos Sainz Jr. has clearly inherited the rallying gene from his two-time WRC champion father, and the Formula One driver benefited from some paternal advice before having a go at the classic Monte stages in an exhibition drive.
He especially told me to be careful today. Don't do anything stupid. I must say it's one of my dreams in life, to once do a proper rally stage with no cars coming in front, just all the road for you.
Perhaps rally later in life?
I'm sure I'll do something, for sure. 100% sure, because I loved it. There's still a bit early in my career. I have a lot to do in Formula One yet, and once it's over, I'll probably start having some fun here.
And so to the power stage, where Ogier had seen off every threat he'd faced, but there was a kick in the teeth for a couple of drivers squabbling over 4th and 5th place. Thierry Neuville was the class act on Sunday morning, bagging 2 more stage wins and finishing on a high. But when the power stage bonus points were on offer, his final time fell short. Neuville was eclipsed at the end by the swagger of Citroen's Chris Meek. Tyrone's finest took 2.3 seconds out of the Belgian's time. And he was even in a hurry to lose all of that speed when the finishing line had been crossed broadside. The full 5 for Meek. That turn of speed threatened Esa-Pekka Lappi, heading down the final hairpins. That position was his by over 18 seconds, but the young Finn lost his grip on that loose gravel and buried his Toyota down a slope shy of those woods. Team manager Tommy couldn't believe what he'd seen. To make it worse, Lappi couldn't find reverse gear, and he dropped to 7th.
What just happened on this stage?
I lost the rear on the gravel part and then couldn't catch it anymore and I couldn't brake, so we went wide. And then no chance to put the reverse on, so that's it.
How disappointed are you now?
Cannot even describe.
Toyota quickly cheered up when they saw new boy Ott Tanak heading down the hill. Estonia's finest was out of the reckoning for any of the bonus points on this stage, but he had a bigger prize on his mind, and that was the runners-up spot. Tanak and Latvala had amassed a good haul of points for the Japanese.
Oh, my heart,
Esa-Pekka went there too. He lost the 4th.
Unscathed, unruffled, once again wondering what all the fuss was about, Seb Ogier, for the 5th year in a row, turning the final stage into a glory run. 5 wins in 5 years. The M Sport dream goes on.
Bravo. Bravo. Great for the team. Thanks to you all. Great job. Thank you.
Behind Chris Meek, the bonus points went to a grateful Neuville and Mikkelsen, 2 more for Latvala, and the last for the winner of the rally, Ogier.
Sebastian, incredible WRC Monte win, number 5. What a start to the season.
Yeah, it's been a difficult weekend. Often in Monte you have to face hard conditions, but it was extremely difficult. Tire choice, I think I never struggled so much for tire choice during a Monte weekend. But at the end, we win, so that's great. I'm super happy with that.
Ogier claimed victory by almost a minute, with Tanak and Latvala ensuring there were 2 Toyotas joining the Frenchman on the podium. Late drama for Lappi, though, saw Meek finish 4th and Neuville 5th after the Belgian passed Evans on the final stage.
A dream start, great performance. The car's been good, all 3 cars been reliable, but Sebastian again just did an incredible job in definitely a very, very difficult and tricky Monte Carlo rally.
And looking forward to Sweden, all positive?
All positive, yeah. I think there's no question. Sweden is going to be difficult as well, but to get a win in Monte Carlo at the start of the season, it's just, you know, it's the boost that everybody needs. It's the platform to kick off the season. So to go away from here, leading the drivers and the manufacturers, it's a great feeling.
So with the power stage points added, this is the state of the Drivers' Championship. Ogier heads the list on 26 with Tanak second, a point ahead of Latvala and Meek. Neuville is the best of the rest after his remarkable recovery. And in the manufacturers, Ford and Toyota are tied on 33 with Citroën and Hyundai already trailing in their wake. Certainly not a cakewalk for Sébastien Ogier, but the cherry on top this weekend, a 5th consecutive Rally Monte Carlo win. Nobody beats this man on his own doorstep. Another slice of classic Monte Carlo down then, and the old girl threw everything she could at us. Drama, heartache, and everything in between.
Droite.